Peymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Peymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes in 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. How can a private membership association make your business exempt from federal income taxes? That is the topic of this presentation. I am Peymon Mutahide, president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996, and for over 30 years I've openly not filed and paid any federal income taxes, and been teaching Americans like you to do the same legally and safely. So if you've not been to our website, go to freedomlawschool.org for more information. Now, let's talk about private membership associations, abbreviated as PMAs. All right? Let's get a little definition from the AI, artificial intelligence, online about what is it to begin with, okay? A private membership association is a private organization formed around a shared interest or purpose that operates outside of public jurisdictions, often allowing members to access exclusive benefits or services. Examples range from large organizations like the NAACP and the American Medical Association to small entities like private health or educational groups, or even a golf club that allows members to purchase alcohol in a dry county that does not allow alcohol, for example. PMAs are founded on constitutional rights like freedom of association and private contract, which allows them to establish their own rules and bylaws. All right? So that's a quick overview of it, but how does it work? The formation. A group of individuals can create a PMA by setting rules and regulations, and members join through a selective process. How about its operation? A PMA operates under its own private rules separate from government oversight. Okay? And benefits. Members can access exclusive services, products, or benefits which can include navigating areas of regulation that are typically government controlled. As far as rights, PMAs rely on the First Amendment of freedom of association and the Fifth and 14th Amendment right for the right to privately contract. Okay? Some examples. Large organizations are like Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts, NAACP, and American Medical Association. Small businesses, a chiropractic practice that operates as a private health association, a private school, or private club, selling alcohol in a dry county that alcohol is normally not allowed. Okay? Now, here are the key characteristics that they must have to be a private membership association or PMA. Membership is not open to the general public, and only approved individuals can join. So they can make it open to the public, but they must approve you joining that club. Internal governors. Members govern the association according to its own rules and bylaws. Now, because it's a private domain, private thing, PMAs can function in the private domain, meaning they are not subject to the same local, state, or federal jurisdictions as traditional businesses. How about the right to contract? That's a key part. They have a right to privately contract, which allows them to transact in goods and services that might otherwise be regulated by state or federal government as long as they have proper documentation. Okay? So this case of NAACP versus Alabama in 1958 is a key seminal case about private membership associations, okay, that everybody relies upon. And again, about benefits of PMA, many organizations out there sell them, and they talk about these benefits of PMA, okay? I just read some of these things for you. Here's another one that talks about these things, okay? Now, here's another one. Someone sells it that provides services that actually create PMAs for you, help you get them up running, help you open a bank account, okay, explain to you how it works. And you have different levels of PMAs, like standard PMA, faith-based PMA, ministry, an unincorporated church, and they give you some summaries of the protections that they may provide if done properly, created and run properly. Now, the key thing is creation and operation. That's the first thing. Because a PMA, private membership association, must be exactly that. An association of a bunch of people that get together privately and they create all these individuals coming together, this association. Therefore, they all own this thing together. American Medical Association is owned by all of its members. Technically speaking, no one owns singularly as one or two people or a couple, married couple, for example, a PMA, because it does not belong to any one or two people. It belongs to all of the members of the private membership association. All right? Now, let's go take a look at the examples. A lot of people out there selling PMAs for this thing I've seen. Some chiropractic or alternative health practices operate as PMAs to provide services outside of state regulations, and that is just fine. They can do that thing, okay? But it's got to be properly created and run PMA. Private clubs, again, they do this, as you heard. That's not as common. Haven't heard about that, okay? But the golf course in this example must be, again, owned by all of the members of that PMA. Educational cooperatives, homeschooling groups form PMAs. Soccer clubs, mom soccer clubs for their children to play soccer. That's a classic example of a soccer club. I mean, a club that's owned by the members. Once a mom soccer club, after 5-10 years, kids grow up no longer playing soccer, they will liquidate everything and all the money goes distributed to all the owners of the private membership association, the soccer moms, not any one person. That is the key thing you got to understand. The problem about PMAs is they're often sold to replace your business, and you at the same time practically own, control, and run it. So the problem with that PMA is it is not really an association to begin with. You want to make it private? That's fine. You got members? Maybe you kind of pretend or act like you got, members, but I really don't, because the real member that counts, that benefits from it, the money derived from the activities, is that owner, is that chiropractor, that acupuncturist, the naturopath who actually is doing it himself for himself. So you cannot have that and all the profits come to you as a chiropractor, acupuncturist, natural health practitioner. No. the profits must go to the entire membership, all 10 or 100 or 10,000 members. They all must get any profits of the association because they all own it. They're all equal owners, just like the chiropractor, acupuncturist, or naturopath person that's doing that. Okay? So, that being the case, a lot of PMAs are being sold to people who are really faulty. They are not associations of members to begin with. Now, they could be done correctly if that doctor, chiropractor, alternative health practitioner is a contractor of that association, and as a contractor, now he gets to make good money because they're usually paid good money for doing these things. $200,000 a year, $1 million a year, or whatever it is, because he's just somebody that they bring in for that association for their benefit, okay? But he cannot just run the thing himself, take all the money to himself, because that health practitioner is only one member amongst all the members of the association. They could have it where certain members are higher class of members and they get paid more. That certainly could be arranged. But when does it become something that really benefits that one guy or the owner, this guy, the health guy, versus all the members? It's a gray scale. If you do too much, then it becomes practically, the government says, oh, that's really just, you're the health practitioner. It is really your business. It's not really a members association to begin with, okay? So, the membership association is not taxable. The homeschoolers, soccer moms, right? Because they're just doing some activity. Any profits gets spent back in the business of buying newer soccer balls, newer goalposts, get a better field, soccer field for the kids to play in. It doesn't go to the owners as profit. It stays in there. You make your livelihood, soccer mom or homeschooler people, from your other job. Not here. Okay? So, with that situation, really the PMAs that are sold, a lot of them, to the health practitioners are not tax exempt because they're just non-profit in essence anyhow, or even religious in essence. People often add the religious aspect to it, but really it's kind of sometimes a little bit stretch. I know some people that have done it properly, some people have really true inspirations to come and do this thing, and for them it's a religious, faith-based God thing. Yes, that does happen, but too often people pretend to do that, or sold and told to pretend to do that, and it's not right. And it will not withstand scrutiny if push comes to shove. Now the fact is, if you do not file 1040 income tax confession forms, IRS will leave you alone better than 99% of the times anyways, because there's over 80 million non-filers, and they cannot take your stuff. They have to make a case against you, give you a proposal of taxes, let you go to a tax court for a trial, and there are only 20 judges in the whole USA. Because they have to leave you alone, so they work anyways. These PMAs, even if done wrong. But if the push comes to shove, you are less than 1% of the person they come after, it will not withstand scrutiny. So you don't need to do these things necessarily, not for federal tax purposes. For other purposes, as you saw, it can work and it's got benefits if it's done right. Like less regulations, right? More freedom. Okay? But for tax purposes, not paying income tax, payroll taxes, it does not make a difference at all whatsoever. For that, what you want to do is to go to our website, freedomlawschool.org. And here you will learn, okay, that you can take 7 steps to regain your power and freedom. Never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp, because based on the official legal websites of U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay federal income taxes to begin with. So all you got to do, click on the gold bar here on that page, scroll down, start the 7 steps, okay, to freedom, okay? No more slavery, no more paying the IRS, no more robbing you. You got to follow the law. Verify what I just told you about the law, number 1. 2, you got to stop filing those confession forms, 1040 tax form. Stop putting a rope around your neck. Sign that 1040 form that the accountant, CPA, tax attorney deceived you to believe it's a safe thing to sign. No! That is a rope when you sign that 1040 form. Don't listen to that lying, incompetent accountant, CPA, tax attorney. He doesn't even know the law. He just pretends to know the law that he does not know. Okay? Then you got to realize that the IRS operates on bluff and deception. They're the true Wizard of Oz that have Dorothy and her friends afraid that they'll get you if you don't file. Oh, danger, danger if you don't file. It's the opposite. When you sign, they get you. Of course, they're brainwashed Americans with fear, anxiety, panic, adoration. Their message they tell you all the time, file early, pay your taxes. That's why people file income taxes. Because accountants and false, preachers tell you to be a slave. Okay? So you got to get through this through our website. That's called the deception, and free yourself. De-brainwash yourself. And you can take courage from our victories. I have beaten the IRS. So have our students. They're not a Godzilla. They're the lizard that's weak, has no firepower. If you stop filing 1040 forms, stop income tax withholding on your paycheck for free on our website, it's available. And then no more filing pay income taxes, okay? And you are not a slave. You don't have to pray and pay tribute to the beast. It really steals IRS. It's really slavery, and you can be free of that if you recognize you have the right and power to question authority. Ask your congressman to show what we teach you is wrong. And if they can show you, pay income tax. But they're never able to do so. And you'll be free because you're verified by asking the lawmakers, show you the law that requires you to file income tax, because there is no law if you're merely a citizen and resident of one of the 50 independent United States. Now, here's an option. You can join the Restore Freedom Plan, like America's founding fathers. All for one, one for all. This is a real association we got going on here. Yes, to get together, okay, and restore freedom. And you get a guarantee IRS will not take any of your stuff. You're not going to go to prison. And if they take any of your money, we'll reimburse you the entire money IRS took from you. So you have no risk. And we suggest bring more members to this association, okay? And love and spread the truth. Be the modern-day Paul Revere. Empower Americans with the truth and the law, okay? So American people and American families can be great and free and prosperous, full of joy and love and happiness once again, like America used to be, and will pay you for being a modern-day Paul Revere. So, PMAs, yes, they're real. They can apply. They can be done right. But oftentimes, they're oversold. Be careful of that. I've had people come to me and say, Peymon, I had a PMA, and I said to this lady, do you run it? Yeah. Do all the money at the end go to you at the end of the year? Any profits? Yeah. I told her, sorry. You have no members, no association. It's just your business. So she realized she wasted her money and changed her business structure to something else. Like I think she had limited liability companies, LLCs, I think. So I'm sharing all this to tell you that things could be done right, and sometimes things do not apply to you. So with that, remember, to be free, go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and educate yourself. Take the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS by putting your cell phone in your car, let it run, watch our videos. Listen to them as you drive, while you watch the road, when you get home at night or lunch to your work. Then you watch the videos and listen, or during lunch or dinner. And this way, you know the truth. You know you can be free. And you'll be free and prosperous with confidence.